All right. Okay, very good morning and welcome to... All right, welcome. Welcome to Daybreak. Welcome to Sporty Monday. What an eventful weekend we have had. Actually, week into the weekend. I thought I'd be safe. Last time, fortunately or unfortunately, I was ill on Monday and Manchester United had lost. So I thought I'll come back when things are better. But unbeknownst to me, in the words of my father, sikusumua Mungu sikuomba, because najua tuko tumeprepare na tukasumbuliwa tena sana. It's okay. Anyway, I was going to tell my friends here of a great analogy. I'll talk about it when you're talking about Manchester United. But one happy one is Steven Chitera, of course, because even Arocho had a draw over the weekend. All right, but they're here with us as well, so we'll start by...
Home and away.
Home and away. Arocho, are you okay?
Well, I'm okay. First of all, I'm glad to be back.
Yes.
Secondly, I'll start from the local scene. I picked a draw. I can confidently say that KCB FC is not going to challenge the league this season. And going up, but
Stop being ambitious.
It's my opening remark.
Okay. He's just reminding you.
Last but not least, Manchester United. I said it here.
Oh my God.
And I've been talking to Manchester United followers because they're no longer fans. Manage your expectations. This year is not for Manchester United. Either way, they are not going to win nothing.
Hata Ronaldo alivunja simu. Ndio ujue vitu zimekuwa noma. Steven Chitera, are you okay? I'm sure you're okay. Look at you. Hadi unataka kutoa tako. Uko sawa.
Wanasema a sigh of relief because you were really hammered over the in the midweek in the Champions League, but that was a great response, preparing us for a return.
Mulitolea Southampton uchungu, my friend.
Uchungu. And that's why I like Thomas Tuchel, because we were discussing with Arocho and I was telling him we are really having a rough time. It's the time that you put on a brave face, but it comes a time when really reality checks in. And indeed, Chelsea is struggling, but Chelsea we are.
Amen.
At least Chelsea, but it's better, you know.
Amen.
For Swila and I, we were watching yesterday's game, Liverpool and Man City, and wondering why. What happened to us? When you see other people playing so much beautiful football, and you're wondering, Nasisi. But it's okay. Swila, how are you doing?
I'm very good, very happy. After Meet the People tour. But you see, I'm glad because the devil followers are now eating humble pie. At the beginning of the season,
run out of pies.
At the beginning of the season, I forewarned them that one team in Manchester want to go very far, but they insisted with Ronaldo they are going to win everything. In reality, the chickens have come home to roost. So there's another team he won't tell you. It's called KCB RFC.
Yes.
They also ate humble pie.
Yes.
So
on both fronts.
On both fronts. on the Kenya Cup and then the Enterprise Cup.
KPL, yeah.
So it's a very beautiful weekend and game on.
Game on. Well, we have so much to cover today here as well. And it's been quite, if you've been a follower of this show, we have often asked for right of reply from two people. One, Hadis Jelishaenda. And the other one is from the Caretaker Committee. And we are so happy today that they have honored us with their presence. And we're going to ask them a myriad of questions. And if you have any questions for the Caretaker Committee as well, you can use the hashtag Daybreak or SMS on 22422. We have Ali Amor, who's joining us. Karibu sana.
Asante sana, Willis.
It's good to see you.
Good to see you again.
Yes.
It's been a while.
It's been a long while.
Yeah.
It's been a long time, but it's good to see you.
Thank you.
Karibuni sana.
Asante sana.
I mean, karibu sana. Sasa karibuni ni caretaker yote since una represent. But welcome.
So, thank you.
We have, on this panel here, we've asked a lot of questions. We've always asked that the Caretaker Committee comes out and speaks and gives us a roadmap. So I guess let's start there. What is the plan going forward for Kenyan football?
Yeah.
Everybody is wondering, what is the Caretaker Committee doing?
Thank you very much, Willis. Rocho, Fred, Tera, and Isaac. Thanks you for having me. Okay, what is the roadmap? You know, roadmap does not only start with the caretaker.
Right.
Roadmap was supposed to have started earlier. Caretaker just came and picked things without any kind of handover. So what we're trying to do is just to put pillars in place. You see, that is like compliance. You see, and this we're emphasizing so much on the clubs. Why sports compliance? Why is it important for clubs? Because that's one of the elements that for you as a club owner, the registrar needs to know who you are, where you are, what are you doing, how many members do you have, how many players do you have. So if a sponsor comes in, they're coming in knowing the transparency of that particular club. There's been a disconnect on that. Maybe most clubs do not understand why they're being told to comply. You see, it's a government law, it's law. Right. And it's going to help a lot of clubs once they comply, because in future, for you to sponsor a club, one of the documents you're going to be asked is the compliance. So if you have issue of returns and the rest and everything, what we are telling clubs is for you to be in order. You see, because I'm sure no sponsor will come in and sponsor a club which is not compliant. Then you go into issues of branding assassinations and all that and everything. You see, that's one of the roadmap. The other one was for elections, which of course within 6 months, after we got in, we realized it's not easy to get election within 6 months.
Right.
Yeah, that was quite a bit of challenge. So I'm sure we're not going to achieve on that.
Okay.
You see, the third one was constitution. It's in process. The legal guys are handling it. They've been back and forth, and people talking about what structure or strategy can we use in this constitution. So that is more of the legal part. I'm not a lawyer, so I cannot go much deep into it. Yeah.
So those are 3 pillars. The elections which are not probably going to be forthcoming in the time stipulated, the constitution and the compliance, and so at least there is that. But I'll toss it over to Rocho.
Wow.
And yes.
Well, my question, Ali, and this has been something that has really been ailing the game for some time now, the officiating of the game. Ali Amor, there are several matches that you even wonder if that is a referee. For example, the match Gor Mahia played against Tusker over the weekend. The center referee is a FIFA referee. He made a mistake that I cannot comprehend. There's a match.
The environment.
No, I even wonder what is the problem. Right. There's a match, Bidco, playing against City Stars. A lady referee, awards a penalty that was a surprise to everybody, even the team that was awarded the penalty. So
they were shocked.
Everybody was shocked. Even the fans were shocked. In a nutshell, Ali, what are you people doing about the officiating? Because I know you did a pet for the referee just after you came in. But I have a feeling that the remuneration of the referees is a big problem. The caretaker committee takes long before they pay the referees. And these are guys who have been used to be paid days after officiating. You pay me months later, I might be compromised. What are you people doing about officiating?
Yeah, thank you, Rocho. I mean, in terms of officiating, there are 3 things you've mentioned. The officiating part, the remuneration part, you see, and the decisions, the center referees. Let me start with the remuneration. I totally agree. We've been late in paying the referees, but you know, some payments are in process, you see. But eventually, even before we leave the office, all the referees will have been paid. We communicate with them. And I thank the referees. Why? Because they've actually gone out of the way and said, despite you're not getting paid, we're still going to officiate. Now that is patriotism. It tells you exactly the love of the game from the referees. Referees are also human beings. Sometimes, due to instincts, you make wrong decisions. Due to pressure, you make a wrong decision. You see, sometimes you've not been remunerated, so you go in with pressure, economical pressure. You see, you don't have cash, but you're expecting them cash, you are there. So you have a lot of pressure, you see. Then the intense of the game. Tusker and Gor is quite an intense game, you see. Then you find the referee making a mistake, you see. But also, let's also understand on the other side. This is a human being. He usually try to do his best in terms of fair officiating. You see, but then look at the percentage of how many games out of 100%, how many games can we say we have been having bad officiating? Is it 90% or is it 10% or 5%? You see, then you look at the league tiers. On KPL, how many games are people complaining about bad officiating? Then you go all the way down, you see. And this is good feedback because eventually we usually sit down And we've called some referees in officiating. The referee committee has called several referees to take them through, even showing them videos, what happened here, you see. Then there's another pressure from fans. Fans are very emotional. You see a fan is coming to watch a match, where 2 games they've lost. So anything that a referee will make, even if it's a right decision, but against that fan, those emotions now, they overcome those emotions and they start insulting referees. There's another thing, there's another avenue that we're not looking into. Referees are beaten. These are human beings, you see. So also fans should be educated into manage expectations and their emotions when the referees are going through that session. It's not an easy thing.
But just to I guess, also echo something that Aroj said. So then what is being done so that, you know, in future it doesn't take as long to pay them, one, and then also not to, all the pressure you put in them, including the fact that they're human beings, it then makes them, I guess, easy to be compromised. So what then is being done so that this doesn't happen in future?
We actually are building a recommendations of reforms.
Okay.
You see, one is the digital part of it. You see, you know, can a referee has a gadget? Can we have real-time videos and understand the level of officiating? If now when they are paid and everything is okay, now we'll see what is the challenge. Is it the remuneration? Is it the officiating part? Is it the human error? Is it the pressure from the fans? So one of our recommendations is digitalizing the entire officiating process, whereby after each game, the referee himself can do a self-appraisal, you see. And one thing that I know the referee committee is trying to put together is after the game, the 5 officials, do they go into a room and they're being told this, they evaluate the match, you see. That is one of our recommendations that you'll see it coming, you see. So in terms of reforming the officiating part. Yeah.
Right.
Maybe, Ali, first of all, let me commend you for having the bravery to come on this show, because I think since you guys were appointed, I'd rather say you operate in a lot of secrecy, and information is really hard to come by, not from the head of secretariat, not of the board led by a retired judge. So it's akin to milking water from a stone, I may say. And again, could you just help us understand why the secrecy with which you're operating? 2, your mandate expires in a matter of a month or a week's time. But from where I sit, I don't really see any tangible improvement or progress that you guys have made. And I'm tying this to the state of football. Rocho and Rabura have talked to it. But you go to Division 2 clubs, a lot of games being cancelled at the last minute. There's really, I can't really say this match will be played, and I put some investment in it. Take, for instance, the game of Shabana that was to be played at the weekend. In the night, team manager tells you this game has been cancelled. Kisumu All-Stars versus Murang'a Seal. This is a game I covered in Kisumu again. The issue of officiating, they are crying every single day. You find one team has got 3-4 matches in hand, yet another team has played more. So probably, just tell us what's happening, mostly with the secrecy. No information flow, no communication. Guys are just in the dark.
Just to add on that, there's a feedback from a referee. I'm not going to mention the referee. Yeah. He's saying, okay, there's a word I'm not going to use on TV. Tell Ali the payment is key. Appointment of referees is unfair. Very inexperienced referees are being appointed.
Yeah, I mean, such sentiments have been coming to us. I mean, unfairness of appointment and everything. You see, but as I said, the referee committee is trying to do his best to make sure that they distribute everybody equally across the country. You see, sometimes you'll be given a match. Sometimes some referees will say, no, I'm not getting paid, so I will not come to officiate. You see, but we give this feedback that you're giving me, the critical we give it back to the referees committee, and they're doing their best. Honestly, they're really doing their best in terms of the appointments, in terms of ensuring that payment is coming through. If you are seated with us internally, you'll realize that the referees chairman is always, all the time ensuring that, guys, we need payment. We need payment. It's very important to have payments in time so that the referees cannot be compromised. You see,
what is the problem of the payment?
It's a process. It's a process. Usually it's a process. You have to say, these are the referees, these are games, this is a budget. So the budget goes through a process, you see, which we all understand. It is a process. And we need to respect the process. But the end game is, will they be paid? Yes, they will be paid.
But how can the and before you go to Sula's questions, how can the time, make it, as Arocho said, it used to be days after. Now it's become months.
Arocho can go back to history also and see, how long were the referees not paid before, you see, and who was not paying them and why they're not being paid, you see. Still, even before, still the process challenges, you see. You need to understand, we inherited without a handover session. So we need to bring the referees on pet, you see. We need to see who is the best referee, evaluate them and all that. Sometimes you cannot have all of them together, you see, because this is something that you just got in the middle. And that is a challenge that we're having. It takes for 5 months to put that thing in order and to put the leagues going without a stop. I think that's a plus.
To jump to Sula's
question.
The first one with the secrecy and...
Yeah. We don't operate in secrecy, Sula. We are at Nyayo Stadium, 3rd floor. We are always there, you see.
What he means, the fixture.
The fixture.
We are journalists here.
Okay.
A match is being played over the weekend. We don't know if this match is being played in Ruaraka, this match is being played at 3. There's no channel for us to know where to cover the match.
And absolutely no one even to... You guys never pick phone calls. Probably you're the one I've never called. Your head of secretariat never return phone calls. And that's why you are saying the former federation, they may look like saints when it comes to matters, communication and information flow. So in this regard, I think Ali and your team, and probably you'll give this feedback, they've failed horribly, spectacularly, if I may use that, because there's no communication flow, right? We are just hearing the rumors left, right, and center. One of the tenets probably of leadership is you have to debunk the rumors and what's spreading out there. But since you guys came into office, we've not seen that kind of thing. And 2, again, tied with the fixture glut.
Thank you. Let me start with the fixture.
Right.
579 games so far. You see, most 97%, all of them have been honored. Teams are getting their fixtures. You see, and we have KPIs and structure. You don't get the fixture from the CEO, but you'll get a fixture from Kiro, the fixture person. We have a fixture guy who communicates the fixtures very well. Clubs, they got it.
Not very well.
Ali, no.
Allow me to finish.
Okay.
You see, when I say very well is maybe you as Swila has not called us directly to ask for the fixtures. But when I sit down...
Called you, Kirwa, or...
Kirwa, that's saying maybe you've not understood our structures inside how they operate, you see. But everybody has their own KPI, who is supposed to communicate what and to who, you see. And when I seated watching 7 o'clock news and 9 o'clock news, I see results coming out.
Which we take a lot of
with trouble. A lot of trouble.
Yes.
Yes, results which are coming out. As on weekends, Arocho does the same thing. Evaluation of matches. Evaluation of matches without fail. Evaluation of matches.
Problems.
Yeah, now, okay. Now, those problems are telling us we can fix them. But we don't operate with secrecy at all.
I think the secrecy it comes to the fore because of no communication from your part. Like, I think in the beginning, there was so many months that people were in the dark. What are they doing? We didn't know about the pillars. I don't know if you knew about the pillars.
Probably Rabur.
So what's communicating to the people? Who is your with a press conference
the
now?
Communication
Rabur,
as it ties it with the interest of time, probably. Yeah. What he needs to tell us before he leaves. In a few weeks' time, I believe your mandate is expiring.
Exactly.
What next?
What next?
That's the biggest.
Who do you hand over to?
Or are you handing over, or you're seeking an extension?
Everybody's talking about the vacuum. There won't be any vacuum. You see, there are structures which will come in place. Discussions are still going on, and with due time, you'll get that communication. You see,
communication will never be a vacuum. Ali, I'll give you an example. FC Leopards was playing yesterday in Thika.
Yeah.
I had to call Dan Shikanda the last moment I was on air.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell Kenyans. The game is they're playing against which team, where, and what time.
I'll agree with you. And one thing also should come out. Clubs, sometimes, they call you within that 72, even 48 hours. They said, no, please change our game. You see. And we have letters Please change our game. Then there is maybe a void between us and you guys. They said, this game has changed. But we had actually made an e-cal calendar whereby on your phone you can get the fixtures, you see. And as I was telling you, as media, you see, you need to come in as stakeholders to have this kind of discussion. That is a critique that we accept, because those are reforms that in future, you see, we need to fix, you see, which I totally agree.
All right. There is a point that has not come out clearly. In fact, I am one person who celebrated when the caretaker committee was appointed. But 5 months down the line, I am bleeding because clearly communication, as they say, is key, very key. Right. Like now, what next? You've not told us what next, because we are going into the Africa, the CAF qualifiers in 2023 in a few months' time. We have a FIFA ban on Kenya. We all know what FIFA instructed us to do so as to get back into active football. And some of the reasons maybe why referees are treating these matches casually is that they're like friendly matches. So what mechanisms are you putting in place to ensure that Kenya is back into competitive and active football that is recognized by FIFA?
So I guess first, let's start with the what's next, because that's what Chitra said. So what happens next?
See, Kenya football fraternity has a history of normalization committee and caretaker committee. You see, just for history purpose, the first one was in 1964, I think. There's never been a vacuum after a caretaker or after a ban. There's never been a vacuum. There'll always be a plan, you see. And what you guys are trying to ask is, what is the plan? The plan will be unveiled before we even go out of office, you see. So what I'll urge you to be patient. We will not leave Kenyan football in a vacuum.
Are you in touch with FIFA?
You see, FIFA talks to the relevant people.
Is there light at the end of the tunnel? Of
course, there's always light at the end of the tunnel. In any football disagreement, of course, you see. And I'm sure FIFA would love Kenya to be back on the competition platform.
Before you leave,
yeah.
I wish someone could zoom onto my phone. He's just said this.
Yeah.
4 months without payment, yet you expect fairness for the game. Be serious, man. We have families, and we are all human. This is a referee. This is a referee who officiates in the Premier League. I'm not going to tell you his name. He might be victimized, but this is a text.
And earlier, as we talked to that, you didn't answer my question about fixture glut. Shabana match being cancelled at the last minute. Every time you check, postponed, postponed, postponed. Yeah, what's really occasioning this?
I think if I can recall, Shabana has cancelled 2 games. If I can recall. You see, one of the games was against Coastal Heroes, whereby Coastal Heroes lost someone and they could not travel. The other one is against, I think, Morangasila or something that was cancelled at the last minute, you see. And there were issues behind it.
But in the management of the game, sorry for interjecting, rules have to be rules. Rules have to be followed. If, as a team today, we lost maybe our team managers lost maybe a loved one, God forbid, but that's not reason to cancel a match. Within that technical bench, that's why we have 2, 3, 4 officials. Within a squad, that's why we register 30 players at the beginning of a season to cover for such like unforeseen circumstances. You can't just wake up and say this has happened, we are cancelling.
There was a communication to that, but we followed the rules. Does not mean when the game was cancelled, then Shabana was not awarded or something. The rules and regulations were strictly followed, you see. Yes, we got a communication from the team, but does not mean that the rules are not followed. That you actually was answering to why the match was cancelled. But the rules were followed, and they will be followed always, you see.
4 months, Ali.
Yeah.
4 months.
Yeah, 4 months,
4 months
yes.
that way.
I feel actually it's true. From January,
it's
I think.
It's true, yes.
Yeah, it's true. From January, they'll not be paid. As I said, it's a process. You see, payment is a process. You see. And sooner or later, they're going to be settled, all the referees. And even those ones that maybe you guys are not aware of, to those stages down there. Even those are going to be compared, and it will be the first thing in history. But one thing, you see, you'll always look at the darkness. The caretaker has some light lots of it. You see.
Maybe we'll allow you to talk about the light before we wrap up. Yes.
Okay. I mean, it's only about maybe secrecy. There's no secrecy. You see, we actually made, for example, I'll give you the referees. Initially, what we inherited, a male referee was paid higher than a female referee. And these people are all on 90 minutes together.
You see, probably why I'm saying the secrecy, what you guys really need to talk out to, because right now, as things stand, you are the body managing football in a country on behalf of 50 million Kenyans. This mandate, you're deriving it directly from the government via Ambassador Amina Mohamed. 2 weeks ago, FKF branches purportedly met in some hotel and arrived at some resolution ABCD. Right now, you're telling us there's light at the end of the tunnel. There's a lot happening, and we are not seeing any communication from you guys. You're telling us you're doing a lot. We don't see this communique. You guys are like in an enclave of your own, the media an enclave of their own. This is where this communication breakdown. That's why you're saying we're operating in a secrecy. So in a few weeks' time, your mandate expires. You're telling us these referees will be paid. To whom will they be sending this demand for payment letters, for instance?
No, each and every payment, and put this on record, will be reconciled before we leave the office. That is already planned. Because we don't want that vacuum you're talking about. If we're leaving the office and the new team comes in and they said we were not paid by the old team, no. It's not the way we inherited, you see. The way we're going to hand over to be totally different, you see. You're talking about Division 2 clubs. We just said we'll follow structures and the law in our handover, you see. Everything will be within the law. If somebody is outside the law, then it will be, they are challenged. But for us, these are the fixtures. This is a caretaker committee logo. That is exactly what we're going to follow. Because if somebody is coming in, for example, if it's KPL, we'll send back all the fixtures that KPL honored, and they will sign it as a handover. The league table, the same thing, the caution. That's what we're trying to do. So that tomorrow, nobody points a finger back and say, you did not do this, or this here was still about. No, everything will be handed over professionally, and all the recommendation will be actually taken care of. Last, I need to say something very key, that these will be some of the legacy handover and recommendation from our side. We are actually recommending for an under 12, under 15, and under 17 in each and every county as a separate league. This is for this, as a separate league, an entity of its own, because that is a vacuum now, which actually we've seen it. So you'll see an under 12, an under 15, and under 17. So whoever comes in, there will be that recommendation per each and every county, because that is the best practice globally. You see? And when you're asking questions, we also look at structures, because the biggest challenge we have, and what we've seen, is structures to be in place. You see, it's KPIs. You see, you're an official. What are your KPIs? How do we evaluate you? You see, because you need to answer some questions at the end of the day. So we are avoiding that one-man show running kind of football to a unionism kind of football where everybody will benefit in the entire country.
Maybe as you leave, just one request, maybe from where I sit as a journalist. Yeah. Within your secretariat, you have two distinguished journalists. Please make good use of them. Information, there's Toskin, and he knows it, and we've been on his case. Yeah. Make good use of Toskin. Yeah? Let us get seamless information flow. Linda herself is a distinguished journalist. Yeah. So as we go back to your boardroom meetings, please address these teething problems.
Right.
Thank you. And please also reach us. Reach to us. Toskin is a phone call away. I'm a phone call away. With Fred, I talk all the time. We are reachable, honestly. We are reachable. But come to us, not only on shows. You see, if you had an issue, Sula would have called me directly and said, I have an issue. Stephen knows. I'm a phone call away. What's happening? I know there are weaknesses sometimes, but this critique helps us to solve those kind of weaknesses. Yeah.
All right, well, I'd like to say thank you so much for, one, like Suda said at the beginning, for coming through and putting yourself out here for Kenyans and everybody to ventilate on issues. I think this is a step in the right direction. If we can have more of these, even as we talk off the camera, but more of it on the camera as well. We'd like to say thank you so much, and I hope the recommendations, hope they're watching. This clip is available if you need it. we can even give it to you. and you can go and see, you know, what people are talking about. There's many more people. I'm sure even I've been told there's a lot of SMSs, just that we don't have enough time. But we'd like to say asante sana.
Willis, asante sana for having me. Fred, thank you. Stephen, Sheila, thank you very much for having me. I mean, help us build the sport.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, asante sana. I want to cross over now to Michael Kinyi. The World Cup, they normally say the mwaka inaenda kusneeze, alafu tufike elections.